So you guys are part of the London and South-East Committee. It would be really great if we could start with just each of you telling me a little bit about who you are and what your role in that committee is. Hannah, do you want to kind of start?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Hannah Kate Smith, and I suppose my day job is Operations and Engagement Director at Lloyd's of London. I've been there just coming up to 6 years and love everything about the Lloyd's marketplace and the London market. My role in the committee is Deputy Chair, supporting Ola and the rest of the committee in what we do, which at the moment has been really focused on this amazing local schools initiative, which we're really hoping we can start to roll out to other BIBA regions as well.
I am really looking forward. I think this has been my highlight, looking forward to hearing what you guys are doing.
I mean,
it really has. It's fabulous. Yasmin, tell me a bit about your role.
Yeah, of course. So I currently work at Hiscox in delegation authority schemes and portfolios, and I joined the committee along with these two guys here. We're all there at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's just such an exciting committee to be a part of, because what we're doing is really unique, and we have one purpose, which we're going to tell you a little bit about in a bit.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Ola.
Yeah, it's to be joined by my two friends and also starlights in the market, which is great. But what I do is something called parametric insurance, and it's quite focused on how we can deal with the climate issue and all the nat cat cover that you need in the world. So that is my day job, and then I happen to chair the London and South East Committee with, I couldn't do it without you guys.
I think as well, one of the really key things that we've been talking about when we're going out to the schools, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we delve into the initiative, is that's what makes the committee so brilliant. Ola's brought together a community, a group of people who really want to do the right thing and get this initiative off the ground, but also we're all really close friends as well. So going back to the schools, that's one of the things we've been talking to the young people about. Actually, it's not just a really brilliant place to build your career, you can build really great friendships, and it was one of the reasons why, when Ola calls up and says, I want you to be part of this, you say yes.
Absolutely.
Great hearts, and I think beyond your great hearts, because I think you guys you have an ambition to help, which is amazing, which I knew was something that was natural. So to do this was something that they wouldn't even say no to, even if it was me. But I think the other reason why I'm happy to be around Yasmin and Hannah Kate Smith is because you guys are next up. The stuff that Yasmin has been doing in the industry in terms of schemes of Hiscox and promoting the brand of Hiscox, had LinkedIn reach out to you to do a program where you did the same thing and taught others. So unbelievable. The work that you're doing with Blueprint 2 in the market to get Lloyd's. I mean, I've been in the market for 12 years and they didn't want to move a dial for innovation at all. So to actually move the dial and make something happen, Blueprint 2 is... So this is who is on the committee. And I just feel like I'm excited to see what else we can do beyond, attracting talent. Because the best way to attract talent is to be amazing.
So the dream team. You guys are the dream team. That's what we've just established.
I love that.
Thank you, Ola.
How are you guys working with BIBA to fill the gap in this area?
So I think one of the things that we spoke about pretty early on when we brought the committee together and we were given the challenge of setting up the schools initiative was, how do we do this differently in a way that hasn't been done before? There have been other outreach programs, and I'm sure there's different insurance brokers and companies that work with schools, but something that was really important to us was speaking to the young people in their own language. Not rocking up and say, hey, we work in insurance and risk, but actually positioning it in a language that they can understand. So, for example, if you're really great at physics or maths, this is what actuaries do. They predict the future. This is what it can really look and feel like. If you love meeting people, you're a bit of a talker, you're a bit of a negotiator, you should think about broking. So it was about how can we position it in a way that young people actually understand. Describe to them all of the brilliant things that insurance has to offer and does, to really excite and motivate them. And I don't think it had been done in the way that we've started doing before.
I don't think so either. I think when it came to outreach with these young adults, which is like what we like to call them, 16 to 19 years old, it needed a complete overhaul. The way that we were actually going out to them before was kind of stuffy, right? And you're right, it was doing it in their language and saying, okay, so you're interested in history. Well, did you know that you could go into fine art? Did you know that you could go into, restorative property? Did you know that these are opportunities that are available for you? And a lot of them didn't know about it. Who knows about insurance when you're in school? And we want to change that.
I've got two stories, I think. One that you guys both don't know about, maybe you know. But I was in the gym, and then I was like quite hidden away doing my thing. And then one of the students made it out of his way to come over and tell me, "Do you remember me from the school? Do you work for BIBA?" I was like, "I don't work for BIBA, but I work with BIBA." So it just shows that we weren't someone that they didn't feel approached, like we didn't intimidate them in any way, and they almost want to go out their way to come and see us. Then the other point I want to make is that in the WWF report that they've put insurance as one of the key pillars of society that are going to be needed to ensure our planet and keep nature, climate. Insurance is essential for that. So when you think about some of the biggest problems in the world today that the young people care about, anyone cares about, to be honest, if we're going to survive on this planet, it's the climate. And that's just one of the issues that insurance solves. So I think we talk about the problem, the biggest problem solvers, the best minds will come to the table. And that's kind of like everything you guys have been saying.
So I think the other thing that we really brought to life for the students was thinking about, the big stuff that's going on in the world. Ola talked about climate, for example, advancements in technology, geopolitics, anything that they see on the TV, on their Instagram feed, in a newspaper if they happen to read one, or on a news app, or any way that they digest information, there is some aspect of insurance that is either enabling that advancement in technology, or a solution can be found to manage the risk through what insurance can bring. So it was sort of, contextualizing it as, the stuff you read on your phone, the stuff you see on the TV, there is always an insurance angle. There is always something that insurance can support or provide.
You're absolutely right, and you've hit the nail on the head. We've spent a long time talking insurance terms, and you and I have had a previous conversation about making insurance exciting and by not using,
I think I said sexy.
Yeah, I think you did say sexy. Sorry, Ola, I'm putting words in your mouth. And you've literally hit the nail on the head. We need to be talking to the younger generation about how integral insurance is to everyday life, because people don't know how much it relates to the global economy and all sorts of things. So I think it's phenomenal what you guys are doing. It's being rolled out across the UK. What does that mean? Tell me what that looks like.
So we started the initiative in London. We worked with 2 schools that were very local to the City of London. You've got to start small. You've got to be able to demonstrate that the pilot initiative works, and I think we've received a lot of praise. It demonstrates that it's working.
Some people even said it was cool. Imagine.
Yeah.
But did they say sexy?
No.
Oh, well, you've got some work to do then.
It was cool and it was sexy. Now the aim is to roll out what we've built to other regions, which actually, and here's the little sales pitch, we've already done the hard work, we've already done the legwork, so we have a pack that you can use to go into the local schools. We've devised an activity day. Okay, it was hosted in Lloyd's, but it could be hosted in any insurance brokerage or company that was willing to do so. And we've demonstrated that you can find the work experience placements. So it's a pretty rounded programme. The praise has been great. Now it's just about finding other regions who are willing to give it a shot and roll it out.
Absolutely. I think one of the hardest parts is actually sparking curiosity in these young adults, right? And we just spoke about it a little bit earlier. It's about making sure it's sexy and exciting and really conceptualizing it for them. And so this is something that absolutely is needed in the regions, right? It doesn't need to be just London-centric. No. We've done the pilot, we've proven it works, we've got the work experience placements, and we're welcoming kids from, gosh, when is it? June, July?
July.
It's coming up. So the first cohort of work experience kids are coming in this summer, and now it's like, what's next, right? Like, what's next? And I think it absolutely has to be the regions. It has to be.
And you know what I can add to that? Nothing.
I've got one to add, actually. I've got one to add. It's about getting really energetic, passionate people into the school at that first port of call, because the first moment you interact with the young people is when you go into school, and that's how we devise the programme. You've got to be able to demonstrate energy, optimism, passion, and also, dare I say it, be young enough yourself that you can be deemed credible by a group of young people that are sat in a classroom.
I mean, that's an age-old social proofing is how humans work, right? So do you look and smell and feel and sound like me, then okay, it's okay to do this.
Yeah.
So I 100% get that. And a lot of the demographic that are currently in the industry fell into insurance. So what you guys are doing is finding a very different way to bring that to life.
And we were very vocal about that in the school. So Ola was from around the corner from where the school was.
Found him in the gym.
Found him in the gym. I talked about, lived in the borough. So it was just finding different ways to connect with the students.
I also said one thing, that my football team from my school used to beat their team all the time. And we
I
did.
love that.
We did.
So it was having that local flavour and actually being able to demonstrate to them that, in our case, the City of London and the London insurance market is not just for, dare I say it, middle class, middle-aged white men, but actually there is so much more diversity and culture and diversity of thought.
I think we've all got sort of a personal story as to why we're involved in this specific committee.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've all got a reason as to why it is. Like, mine is that I started off in insurance when I was 17, and so seeing these young adults there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish someone had come and spoken to me and told me about the routes and the opportunities in the city, because I wasn't aware of them. I know Ola's got his own personal story, Hannah, you've got yours as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a difference. People who are like genuinely passionate about it, and they want to drive forward change. And I'd love to see more of it, right? I'd love to see it rolled out further. Absolutely.
And I think in addition to someone that can connect with young people, I think we've got people in our lives that do look like the demographic of white, male, old, but they're amazing people.
They are amazing
So
people.
we had, at one of the schools, my old mentor and boss came down, and I can vouch for him. So I think it's having someone that you can vouch for as well, to almost demystify and say, look, I know he looks like the demographic that is intimidating, but he's one of the good ones. And there's loads more like that. So I think there's also a job at shining a light on people that look like the demographic that looks pale, male and stale, but they are lovely people.
They are, and also helping support people like us to progress in the industry as well. So it's really fair.
It's
fair
about
comment, Ola.
talking with and not talking to. And we've spent perhaps a longer time talking to, and now it's really got to be talking with, and you can only talk with if you're hearing. And it sounds like what you guys are doing is hearing, based on your own personal stories, connecting, and then exciting people about sexy insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
wouldn't-
it is.
yeah.
And we've got some amazing stories to tell. One of the stories we told when we went into the local school was how, within the Lloyd's market, we set up a facility that enabled COVID-19 vaccines to be temperature controlled and transported all around the world to developing countries.
That's cool.
It's those sorts
It's
of
cool.
things that really bring to life the power of what insurance can do and how it can support people. And as Ola said a little bit earlier, young people are really responsibly minded. So it's about actually demonstrating how insurance is responsible and is sustainable. Clearly there's a lot more to be done on some of those angles, but it's a really great place to work, and we're doing really great things to support communities, people, businesses around the world.
And it makes me think, when I think about insurance, it's simply the promise. And
Yeah.
you think of your first ever promise, your first ever pinky promise, and when that pinky promise is broken, how you felt.
Yeah.
That's how someone feels when a claim isn't paid. So it's just a rebranding job, really. And I think if we go back to the basic principles and do things right and talk about the problem and solve all these issues in the world, we'll have people wanting to be in insurance, and we won't be able to back them away.
It's about reframing, it's about putting it in a language that young people understand, making it sexy, making it exciting, and showing what it could really mean for them.
Guys, what you are doing is absolutely incredible, and I think you should be really, really proud. And I think a lovely way to sum this up is I want one wish from each of you to the audience and the people listening. How can we as a collective take this out and conquer the world? Yasmin.
I think that one's easy for me. I hear loads of people say all the time, it's great what you guys are doing, right? I love what you guys are doing. More people should get involved in things like this. What about them? I'd love for more people to get involved, right? If you've got a firm and you're able to take on a work experience placement, please do reach out. Reach out, get involved in the initiative, give up your time for a week to have someone trail you and shadow you and really learn from what you're doing, because you could potentially change the course of someone's life. So that would be my one ask.
Amazing. I'm going to come to you next, Ola, who wants bigger, more.
Yeah, I do want bigger and more.
You always want bigger and
I
more.
don't even know how to answer this question, but I'm going to just say what's in my head, because we're at BIBA and the whole market's here. All the movers and shakers of the market are in one room. And I want our committee to deliver something that's a little bit different from the rest, that's market changing. So some of the stuff that you've done already with Blueprint 2, what you've done with schemes, and I can't wait to see how that culminates. So I think through success, we will attract the talent that the industry needs.
I love that.
I do too, and it's very entrepreneurial. Fabulous. Hannah, what's your wish for the BIBA Pod audience to hear?
I think for me it's really simple. The next young person that comes to you and asks for an opportunity, take the chance on them, give them the opportunity, and as Yaz said, your small act could really change somebody's life. And when I think about some of my experiences that I've had in this industry, I've benefited from a small act or what felt like a small decision in a really big way. It's transformed my life, transformed my career, and made me realise that really brilliant things are possible. So take a chance on the young person.